Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morale Booster with John Ughulu. And today I have with me someone who has a passion for saving lives, someone who has a passion for reaching out to people who are in need. His name is no other person but Dr. Rasean Hodge. So Dr. Hodge, thank you for joining me on the program.
King, thank you for having me. It's my pleasure. Anything to motivate and inspire others, especially that look like you and I, to get into the cannabis sector. It's most important to me. It is my passion, and thank you for having me. And thanks for
welcome.
Introduction.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, okay. So to my listeners out there, please, when you watch this video, please feel free to share the video. Share to your friends and family. So today we're going to have a very interesting topic because he's a cannabis advocate, medical marijuana advocate. So we're going to be talking a lot of cannabis business today. You see, he has a sample with him. He always carries it. He's a doctor, an MD. So we would have a lot of hot topics today. So Rasean, could you please tell us, I already told the people who you are, but it's better if they hear from the horse's mouth. Could you please tell us who you are and what you do?
Okay, well, I'm a family physician by nature. That was my passion as a young kid. You know, my mom kind of steered us in the direction of be a doctor or a lawyer.
Right.
My eldest sister is a surgeon. She runs the burn and trauma unit at Emory. It's a large hospital in Atlanta, Georgia.
Right.
I myself practice medicine in Atlanta, but I do it with a holistic approach, more comprehensive, and mainly using cannabis. So I have the great privilege of making the cannabis recommendations for the state of Georgia since 2015. I've been doing that.
Wow.
And more importantly, I'm a patient as well. I broke my neck in 2012. I got plates and screws and all in my neck, and I happened to ding my spinal cord. So I have chronic pain for the rest of my life. And I also use cannabis every day medicinally to mitigate my chronic pain so I can work. I was on disability for a few years, so I'm back.
So sorry about that, man.
Nah, this is why we're here to talk. Cannabis has got me back to work and feeling optimal, you know?
Right. Okay, I see you are a solid advocate for cannabis. You know, I've been following all your great work. I really do appreciate you guys, because it's not an easy thing to have decriminalized the use of medical marijuana. So tell us what you think generally about marijuana.
I thought like everyone thought, I thought it was a Schedule I drug, being an African-American, someone in our family members, is either dead or in jail behind cannabis. So growing, I'm 45, this war on drugs, I felt like was against us, was towards us. We suffered the most in this country. And I didn't touch cannabis. I thought it was a drug. The government said, hey, this is a Schedule I drug, the same as cocaine, the same as heroin, the same as meth. I'm like, I'm not touching it. I've been around it. So to me, it was taboo, something not to do until I hurt myself. Once I broke my neck and became desperate, John, every medication that I used to prescribe in the blink of an eye I had to take. Opioids, Percocet, benzos, Ambien. And then I used to prescribe them all the time. And I didn't understand physical dependence. I didn't understand tolerance. Textbook I understood, but I didn't understand what it did to you personally. So after painfully getting off those medications, getting off a benzodiazepine like a Xanax or Ambien, you have a crazy physical dependence to that. So I had to beat that using cannabis. So, how I'm night and day as far as my perspective now on cannabis, So I can talk to, I'm blue in the face or green in the face about cannabis, man.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I saw some of your videos where you had one or two meetings with the governor of the state.
Yes,
So could
sir.
you please tell us what was your mission then? Because I saw a video where you were the doctor of the day. You know, I was so proud
Thank
of
you.
you. You know, that's
Thank you. Thank you. My mission, when I first hurt myself, there was 28 states that figured out the answer to chronic pain.
right.
Georgia was not a state that had an answer to chronic pain. The answer was opioids
Right.
or physical therapy, more surgeries, more benzos, more pills. So I became desperate. I did not want to become a medical marijuana refugee. I didn't want to leave my family, leave Georgia, leave everything I built here for the last 27 years to go to a state where I can medicate without going to jail or
Right.
losing my life.
Yeah.
So I said, man, the only way to stay here is to fight for it.
To fight
You know,
for it.
fight for it. So we lobbied, we hit the streets, get the caretakers, come to the Capitol, lobby, fight. Hey, we need to add chronic pain to our list, because initially when we passed in 2015, there was only 8 diseases.
Right.
And it was all end-stage disease. So one, it didn't make sense. We had to expand the disease profile. But 2, why wait until the end of that disease or the end of that person's life to first try cannabis?
Right.
So that struck a chord to me too, because I'm like, you know what? I have to control the narrative, change the narrative. Like, look, cannabis is not, if all else fails, try cannabis. Last resort medication, I believe it should be the first option
Right.
for those that think that it can help them, because it's
Right.
preventative, as well as healing, it prevents diseases. So prevention is always better than cure.
That's it.
So yeah, that's why I was lobbying, and then I was rewarded for it and acknowledged for it by being Doctor of the Day. That's a very prestigious acknowledgement.
Exactly. I was so proud of you. When I saw it, I said, yeah, that's my brother.
Yeah,
You
thank
know,
you. So
that's it.
legislators, a lot of the Congress, our House and Senate, they're starting to become patients too. They help write law. They've
Yeah.
been curious, and they're on 18, 19 different pills, and
Right.
they're seeing the effects. And soon we're about to have 65 dispensaries here in our great state of Georgia. So
Wow.
it's
Wow. Wow.
booming. Business is going to boom out here.
Wow. That's a good one. I really
Yes,
do appreciate you for all the steps you've taken so far. You know, you have
yes, sir.
fought so hard for it.
Yes, sir. Yes,
You know,
sir. Yes,
I
sir.
appreciate that.
Because I understand I'm a physician as one, but I'm a patient,
Yeah.
and it's like I don't want to go to jail for
Yeah.
self-medicating. I don't want anyone to suffer like I've suffered without cannabis, or at least having that option. 'Cause
Right.
I've been through some dark days with my chronic pain. Most chronic pain leads to terrible depression.
Right.
And then when you have terrible depression, your pain is amplified, bro. You
Right.
know? But then you have anxiety that turns to more insomnia. Then you can't eat. Now you have body dysmorphic syndrome, and it's just a tough spiral. Then it eats at your soul because you can't sleep. You got this chronic pain all the time.
That's right. Yeah, I
And
get
then
it.
this got me off all my medication. So
Yeah, so that's the cannabis oil, right? That
this
you
oil, yeah,
use.
this is a tincture. You put this under your tongue,
Okay.
and then it works within 1 to 3 minutes. So cannabis, there's various delivery methods.
Right.
Media, TV, you think you always got to smoke it.
Right.
That's inhalation is great. It's very predictable. So inhalation, vaping, great. Oil, great. Beverages are great. Edibles, great. Topicals, patches, even suppositories. It's all medicine.
Right.
I don't care if you talk about it in the recreational world. It's all medicine now.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you said initially, we all had that fear. I never touched it. Like we all had that
Yeah.
fear for it because we were told not to touch it. Right now I see a lot of people wanting to go towards, buying the oil. I still have that, fear in me.
Yes.
So what would you say, to those people who are like me,
Right.
who still find it very big of a deal to go close to it.
Yeah, I was you, you know, I was very hesitant. I would see it on urine drug screens as a physician, but I didn't really see the negative effects of cannabis. I saw what alcohol did every day,
Yeah.
the abuse, DUIs, the fatalities, the spiraling of your career, the liver damage. I saw the tobacco. Uh, Obviously, pills, heroin, I know what that does to your body. But when a patient came in and I saw cannabis or marijuana on their urine drug screen, I mean, even before I used, I didn't chastise them. I'm like, hey, you know, it's some cannabis. You seem like you're a great person or a great lady, you know, whatever, you know, you might want to slow down, verify. But, you know, as far as anyone that is hesitant, that's the media. Understand what big alcohol and big tobacco is going to continue to defend their profits with negative information.
Right.
Big pharma is going to continue to defend or put down cannabis until they find a way to make money using cannabis.
That's
You know,
right.
and you got to understand how they control the narrative for decades. You know, and
Yeah.
also think, yeah, this industry is a business behind this industry.
Right.
So they want you scared. They want you not to touch it because they don't want you to learn about it so they can
Right.
dominate. You
Right.
know. So meanwhile, you're being scared to talk about it. Parents are being scared to talk about their kids. There's 15 universities and colleges that have degrees in cannabis now.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
University of Maryland has the first master's program in the country.
Wow.
There's law schools that have cannabis laws in there. So these empires that are being built are going to be protected by those.
Right.
And we're still scared to talk about it because of the narrative.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
we can't fall for the play, John.
Yeah,
We got to talk
exactly.
about it every day.
That makes a whole lot of sense. You know, so if you're listening to this program right now, Dr. Hodge, you know, was a patient. He's a medical doctor. He knew he had to do something to
Yes, sir.
help him achieve his goals.
Yes, sir.
He didn't run away, but instead he fought. So that's the essence of this program. Learn how to take the bull by the horn. If you've
Yes.
got goals, if you've got dreams, nobody's going to help you accomplish those dreams unless you start achieving it by yourself, unless you start taking action. So,
Yes.
Dr. Hodge, this program is a platform for mentoring and
Yes.
coaching people. You know, I don't
Yes,
know
sir.
how to rap, I don't know how to sing. So this is the medium I want to use to
It's
pass the
very
message
important.
out there.
Leadership is very important. Mentorship is very important. That's my first love might be cannabis and medicine. My second love is mentorship.
Right.
You know, that was the first thing I did when I arrived in Atlanta at Morehouse College was be a big brother to a little brother, big brother, little brother program.
Right.
So that's dope. But before we go, I'll be quite remiss. Before I broke my neck, I was interested in the cannabis business because African Americans made up less than 1.8% of this $22 billion.
Right.
So I've been small business my whole life. I never worked for a large group.
Right.
So I started studying every day and mapping out. And this is a true story, bro.
Don't worry. You know what? We're
slides.
not in a hurry to leave. So just so you know, we have all the time to discuss.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Yeah, I would make slides when when states started to go to turn green, have medical cannabis programs.
Right.
I was looking at what companies, investors, I would write them down, laws, how did they get these licenses, you know?
Yeah.
And then why in the hell were blacks getting shut out? And especially when it happened in Maryland, you know, DC, that's a huge black concentrated area. And when no blacks weren't there and it made it to the Supreme Court, it made me furious, fight even harder. And I'm like, look, man, we suffered, the black and brown people, Hispanics in this country have suffered the worst with this failed war on drugs.
Right.
In every major city, the arrests were 9-1, 8-1 as far as cannabis. We're in the ground, you know, because of cannabis, right?
Right.
And now we can't participate. They're blocking us out. This industry is booming, and we're so scared to talk about it we're missing this big opportunity.
Absolutely.
So that's what, and then I broke my neck. So I'm like, okay, I wanted to get in for the business, you know, so I can inspire African Americans that, look, man, we belong in this cannabis sector.
Right.
This cannabis sector can't grow without our culture, without our swag, the way we talk, the way we move, the way we just get down, you know?
Right.
It's so marketable, you know what I'm saying? So, and then I break my neck. I'm like, whoa.
This is that time.
I was in it for us, but now I'm in it for me.
Yes.
Because I'm a patient and I just want to be part of, I want the cleanest meds. I would love to have a big farm and I go and grab me a couple ounces out of something that just grew from the greatest thing, you know, and I have a piece of that. That would be incredible, you know?
Wow.
So yeah, it just was a perfect storm with me hurting my neck and then with my renowned passion that, hey, look, man, I want to inspire other African Americans, other Blacks, other Hispanics, other minorities, women to get into this budding industry because the textbooks are just thin right now, you know?
Right.
You know, you just got to understand a few terpenoids, understand a few flavonoids, understand carboxylation and hydroxylation. There's not much to catch up.
Right.
But once they start making degrees and having certificates, and now you're going to have this piece of paper or degree to talk about it, you know, to get a job in it. So we have to get moving.
Yeah, that's why I decided to bring in professionals, experts, people with experience, you know, to the program because knowledge is power.
Yes, sir.
That's it.
Yes.
So
that's a good knowledge is the power.
Right. So what's the difference between smoking marijuana and using the oil and other forms?
It's a great question. So what I like to say is, you know, since this is medicine and we're not talking rec, I like to say inhalation. What is the difference between inhaling cannabis or using a sublingual or a tincture? So we'll break down the science real fast since you have the time and you say
we have the time, brother. Yeah.
So you just can't take 1 second, okay, boss. You just can't take a bud of cannabis sativa, where it could be cannabidiol, CBD. You just can't eat it, and the THC is gonna be activated. No, sir.
Okay.
When you inhale cannabis, you have to decarboxylate it with heat.
Okay.
So that's why you see everyone with a joint and the flames inhaling it. Now, the heat will turn this delta THC, it will activate the THC, the psychoactive part of cannabis.
Okay.
So when you inhale it, it's very predictable. That's why it's great medicine. So most people, it's the favorite delivery method of most people, of most patients, because you can inhale to effect. You know, 1 or 2 puffs. If your pain was at an 8 on the scale of 1 to 10, you go down to a 6. You put the vape down, or you put your joint down, the bong down. You put your rig down. All ways of inhaling. That's a rig. This is a rig.
Right.
I'm inhaling my medication to effect.
Right.
You know, okay? This is a topical. I'm putting it on my body. So when you inhale, your heart's going to pump the blood. You know, there's a heart and lung, there's an air blood exchange, right? So when you inhale, the cannabinoids, the flavonoids, the terpenoids, those 3 main groups of cannabis are going to cross your blood-brain barrier, stick to your CB1 receptors and CB2 receptors, and instantly start working when you inhale. Now, with the oil, but the half-life of cannabis when you inhale is usually typically 3 to 4 hours. So if you're a patient with chronic pain like myself, that means I will be chain smoking, you know, every couple hours. And most people don't have the privacy. And it's costs a lot of money to have that much.
Right.
You'll go through an ounce in a couple of days.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? Now, the oil is a full spectrum cannabis oil. It's already hydroxylated. It's been prepared with heat. So the cannabis is already activated. THC is already activated. Here,
Okay.
we just put a little bit on your finger,
Okay.
or you can put it on food, and you rub it under your tongue, because your gastrointestinal tract, your GI tract, it starts from your lips to your butt, right?
Okay.
We
Yep.
always think about our stomach, right? So
Right.
under our tongue is a plexus of these veins and
Right.
arteries.
Yeah.
You rub the cannabis oil, and right here, this is a 1-to-1 ratio. And
Okay.
you got to get me back on your show to understand. People understand ratios, because when they buy their oil, it's going to come in a ratio, CBD to THC. Same with their flour. Same with the CBD beverages and the edibles. It all has a ratio. So this ratio is 1-to-1. 50% CBD, 50% THC. You rub it under your tongue. Make sure your hands clean, you know?
Right.
And then you swallow the rest. Now, what that big vein is already going to my bloodstream, all the cannabis, right? My heart is beating this cannabis that I just swallowed across my blood-brain barrier. And I'm going to start to feel the effects just within 30 seconds.
Wow.
Now, what's different between inhaling, this cannabis oil can couple to your CV1 receptors and your CB2 receptors for up to 2 days.
Right.
So it's not predictable, because sometimes you might get, if you want to say that word, psychoactive or high, you might be like an edible, like, whoa, I didn't want to be high this long.
Yeah.
You know? So this is not as predictable, just like that experience you had when you had your first edible. It was fun for maybe a couple hours, but you didn't want it to last 10, 12, 14, 16 hours. Right. So now you're understanding the different delivery methods and half-life. And I implore all my patients and caregivers, you know, if you're using cannabis, you got to explore all delivery methods, because there's no one size fits all, John.
Right.
That's what Big Pharma tried to sell us, you know?
Right.
You and I, we both take a Tylenol, or you and I, we both take a Percocet, that we're both going to have the same reaction and the same benefits and never have problems.
Right. That makes a whole lot of sense. That's a complete explanation you just gave to us now. So I've got another question. What area of medical sciences do you practice?
My degree is in family medicine.
Okay.
I did extra work to do palliative care. That was what I love to do as well. I love death and dying. You know, hospice is less than 6 months to live. That's when I fell in love with pain. You know, because there's a lot of pain in dying, only because you haven't accepted a lot of stuff, a lot of trauma, emotional, physical. So my background is family medicine. My degree is psychology. So I love the mind. I love the mind.
Right. That's a good one. So what made what gave you that love or the passion for, advocating for marijuana? Like how far back was that?
Oh, that's when 2010 or 11, when I was waiting for the next big thing. You know, I was one of those. I was like, when did the internet come out? You know, I was studying. You know, so I remember when people were saying this is 96, 95. They're going to the computer lab. They're going to go surfing. And I said, what the hell is surfing, bro? I got to go to class. I ain't got no time to play around. And I didn't mess with the internet for like 3 years.
Really?
Yeah. I'm in med school now.
Right.
You know, just in a bubble. So I'm like, wow. Now I'm like, the next big thing, you just don't want to miss it.
You don't want to miss out.
No,
this time
it's so
around.
much opportunity. And for us to change the Black plight, it's all about generational wealth. So what can bring us generational wealth where we can really make a fucking dent and stuff, you know? So it was cannabis, and then I was fueled, you know? But what made me want to become a doctor, I have to say my mom. I wanted to play football, John, like most young boys, you know?
Right.
And she said, nah, you ain't gonna play football. You're gonna be a doctor or a lawyer. And I chose medicine, and I resented it for a long time, you know, because it just didn't make me happy. You know,
Right.
I was an MD working. I'm like, who am I doing this for? I'm doing this for my parents to make them happy. This is not making me happy. So
Right.
I did a lot of clinical research, delivered some babies, not happy doing that, done some ER work, not happy doing that, and found my niche with death and dying until John
Right.
came and I hurt my neck.
That's a
You know,
good one. You know, I have three sons as well. You know, one of them
a
says,
blessed man.
yeah, already. One of them says he wants to be a basketball player. You know, but I say it's not a problem. It could be a hobby, but you're gonna be a doctor.
Hey,
You know, so he says, yes, I'll be a doctor for you guys. No, yes, no problem. Just get us that degree first. Then your hobbies can come in. We're okay with that. But one of them says he wants to be a dentist. You know, so
beautiful.
right,
Yeah, that's beautiful. And you know what? And I applaud your leadership because it's not about what you want. I mean, parents, we know what's best for you. And
right.
if
You
you
give
know
them
in
a
the
nudge.
NBA, you got to be. It's only a 1% chance. I don't like those odds. Doctors is. All the doctors in this country. Only 4% of doctors look like you and I in this country.
Exactly.
So your son has no choice. He's
All I
got to
need to
do
do
it.
is to give him a nudge because I believe in mindset
He's
coaching.
got to do it. We're getting wiped out, bro. We're
That's it.
getting washed out. So
That's it.
we're not growing as physicians. And people of color live longer when their doctors look like them.
Exactly.
So if your son is able to,
He
he has
will.
no choice.
Yeah, he will. They're doing
Yeah,
so well, you know. They
yeah.
love
Tell
sciences.
him I'm proud of him already.
Thank you. Thank you.
Both
He'll
of
yeah,
them.
he'll definitely watch this, you know.
Yeah, cool.
Right. Okay, so what challenges have you encountered in your medical marijuana campaign?
The challenge is only 14% of physicians believe cannabis is medicine.
Okay.
So you're kind of out here by yourself. Of course, the doctors that are working in big groups and working for big pharma, they look at me like I'm crazy, you
Right.
know. But I'm earning their respect because all their patients are like, "Hey, man, I need this. What about this cannabis?" And they're fumbling and saying, "Hey, go to Dr. Hodge."
Oh,
And
okay.
you know what's telling them to go to Dr. Hodge? Children's Healthcare of Atlanta.
Right.
Like our flagship programs, our flagship pediatric hospital of the great state of Georgia saying, go see Dr. Hodge for some cannabis.
Right. That's a good one.
It's growing, it's amazing. So what we need to do is unfortunately, the other 86% of these physicians are waiting for the feds to take cannabis off that controlled substance list,
Right.
which
Right.
hopefully will happen before, maybe before elections or shortly after this vote in November.
Right.
Prohibition's about over. We all know legalization's on the horizon. So talking about it is very important. Getting into the business is very important. And I can guarantee most people that are listening, they're going to die with cannabis in them or synthetic form of cannabis because big pharma always has several drugs with cannabinoids, a synthetic cannabis.
Oh,
So
okay.
we're all going to have it in us. So if
Pretty
if,
soon, yeah.
if you're dragging your feet, you'll be popping a pill,
That's true.
and you're either going to be a purist or you believe in this synthetic world.
That's true. You know, and there's no better feeling than being the go-to person.
Yeah, thank you, John. It's
Right.
and
Right.
and to top that is no better just to be honest.
That's
Like
true.
I'm not selling anybody anything anymore. I used to. I didn't know I was doing that, John. But I just put it in my mouth.
Right.
Tell me what oncologists you see is going to say, hey, don't worry, I'll take the chemo first. Not going to happen.
Right.
So I'm practicing off empirical evidence. I'm only going to suggest to you, John, hey, cannabis is going to help you. Mindfulness, exercise is medicine. You're going to have the complementary food, clean up your sleep hygiene. It's
Right.
true comprehensive care. This is not the be all end all, but I can tell you now holistically, more comprehensive approach to your problems.
Right.
and you're going to have a better success rate than a pill plus another 4 more pills because of those side effects. Another 6 more pills. Now you have depression. Now that's going to lead to dialysis because you have chronic kidney disease because your kidneys got to take all those pills and clean your blood out. Now you got liver disease and you die in your 60s.
Yep.
Yeah. And they drained your insurance for like millions, you did?
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Sorry,
That's a
I
good
get
one.
long-winded about this cannabis, bro.
I
This is my
know.
passion, you know?
I know. There's nothing as beautiful as you being able to go after your dreams and
Yeah.
see your dreams come to fruition. Yeah,
Yes,
that's a
sir.
good one. I like that.
Yeah.
So, do you have any investment opportunities for my listeners?
Yeah. I would want to invest in yourself with education, uh, invest in an LLC. Your listeners, you know, usually they're about $100. Think about cannabis security, cannabis transportation, consultant work, you know, or, you know, hydroponics, you know, the greenhouse, fixed greenhouses, you know, these are ancillary businesses that cannabis can't survive without y'all, you know?
Right,
And
right,
you're gonna get paid first. You don't have to wait for that seed to grow and get dried out. You're gonna get your check.
right.
So invest in yourself and explore the ancillary business. If
Okay.
you like something, you know, that African proverb, if you want to go fast, do it by yourself. If you want to go further, well, do it alone. If you want to go further, do it with a group or something.
Right, right.
I'm
Teamwork
from
makes
Jersey.
yeah.
Yes. So team up with people, put money together, use other people's money. Um, if you're in school, think about a chemistry degree, you know, think about majoring in anything, any plant science, or if that university does have a cannabis course, grab it,
Right.
grab that education.
Yeah, because it's the next big thing.
It is here. Uh, this oil can't be sold to that chemist says, okay, there's no RPGs, heavy metals, there's no pesticides. It can go to market. And that goes for smokable, inhalation, vapes. That chemist has to say yes.
Right.
And that young person who's 23 or 24 is making 150 grand. And then he's helping that grow, make more money. They usually give him profit sharing, him or her. So now him or her is part of a profit sharing or something vertical.
Right.
What else is paying you like that? You know, if you're an accountant, be a cannabis accountant. You know,
Yes.
most businesses want to know about their P&Ls returns, you know, maybe twice a year. And this cannabis is 20 million I just gave you. I want to know every month what's going on.
Right.
So you got accountants making hundreds of thousands, attorneys, again, you know, aquaponics, hydroponics, how you fertilize, how you feed this. Those pipes burst. I got to call you immediately, John. I can't wait 2 days. My ladies will die. I'm going to lose $2 million.
Right. Right.
You see, and so invest in that. Now, as far as stocks, you know, Canada kind of blew it. You know, they overinflated their market when they went legal 3
Right.
years ago.
Yeah.
So, and then people started pulling the cash out of the stocks, and most of those stocks have went down. I like Aurora; it's pretty bullish right now.
Right.
Um, if you believe in adaptogenic herbs, if you want to invest in a herb, you might want to start investing in the next big boom, which is
Right.
psilocybin mushrooms. So
Okay.
there's a company called MindMed,
My,
Mind Med.
okay. Let me write that down.
Yeah,
If you guys are listening, please, this
yeah.
information is key.
I'm
Yeah.
not Kramer. I just read a lot.
Right. It's a mind book.
MindMed, MindMed.
Okay.
Aurora Cannabis is doing pretty well, but that's just one vertical. MindMed is the first publicly traded company that's going to kill it with psychedelics.
Right.
So you got to understand, what are these Schedule One drugs? Let's go back to these Schedule One drugs, like cannabis, was the number one drug we used to prescribe here in this country
Right.
between 1990. What else did we prescribe? LSD, right?
Yeah.
Mushrooms, psilocybin, right?
Yeah.
So MindMed is said, hey, man, we're going to use LSD to treat Alzheimer's. And they're the first publicly traded company because the whole world is under a mental meltdown because of this pandemic. Mushrooms, ketamine is what's going to be for depression in the next year or two.
Okay.
That's why Oakland, Colorado, and then there's Santa Cruz. Those are the three major cities that have decriminalized psilocybin and mushrooms.
Right.
And when we get off this, psilocybin and psychedelics is where you want to invest. That sector is attracting more cash than cannabis right now.
Right. Wow, that's some good information there.
Yes. Yeah, and that's where we're going to treat a lot of the travel medicine. You know, people go to Mexico, they go to the Caribbean, they go to Jamaica for psilocybin. You know, that's a natural. It comes off a mushroom, and it acts just like LSD, and it resets your brain. And what they're studying is going to be great for PTSD, depression. It's going to be great for end of life. It's going to be great for acceptance. It's going to be great for.
I think you need to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Sorry, I think you inadvertently.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, so I would invest in anything in the rise of psychedelics. Any company that is doing clinical trials. And invest in that.
Okay, that sounds good. That's good information there. Thank you very much for that. So to my listeners, I know we've all learned a thing or two from Dr. Hodge. He's a medical doctor. He has so much experience in the cannabis industry.
Yes, sir.
He has been an advocate for decriminalizing marijuana, cannabis. So thank you for all you've done so far. We know we still have a lot of work to do because if after your work, the people out there do not make any move to get this thing going, you know, it might look like a wasted effort. So we still need to keep doing this campaign. We need to start, you know, sending the information out there so people can know how important it is to start investing in it.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. You got me charged up, man. This is a Saturday treat right here. You know, most people want to lay around on a Saturday, but I'm happy that you're working and spreading the good gospel about cannabis, man. And
right. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join in the program. And I hope when next I call you, you would give us the privilege of coming back on the show so we can.
Absolutely. Promise you that, man.
All right. Thank you. Keep doing what you're doing, bro.
Thank you so much.
Have a wonderful rest of your day.
All right. Bless.
Bye.